welcome to another edition of Eye on Jamz Extra. My name is Tim Board. Thank you for joining me today. If you're watching via Facebook Live or YouTube Live, greatly appreciate it. Happy to have with me Mr. Raymond Castronovo out of New York City. He is from the band Streetwise. Raymond, welcome to the program and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So how did you get started in music? What interested you into becoming a performer?
So when I was growing up in Brooklyn, right around 12, 13 years old, I decided to start fiddling with the guitar for a bit. And we started our own little local band in Brooklyn. And then we started, playing around. It was three of us. It was Ray, Tom, and Mike. And we went by the Ray Tomics. And we started playing around Manhattan and playing around the city. And then we, mostly original music. And then at some point, we started creating our tapes and sending them to record companies and playing different places. And, there was a lot of nice music going on there, with the Rolling Stones and Eric Clapton that got our attention. And, even we grew up in the disco era, so our music had a beat. So at some point we had got some attention from a major record company. When we were about 21, I was about 21 or 22. And with that in mind, we then were going to go record at the biggest recording studio in Manhattan called the Hit Factory. But at that time, I had a pregnant wife, which I figured I had to just slow that down and get into working and continuing playing music. At some point, I knew that I was going to give it another shot. And then, we about 5 years ago, I started to get in the position. The kids are all growing up. And that's when we put some really good musicians together and created Streetwise.
We'll talk about Streetwise. If somebody doesn't know Streetwise, how would you best define the music of Streetwise?
So I define it as, like I said, we grew up in a disco era. So our music seems to have a beat. We also have some blues feel to us. And then also we can get a little spicy and, everything kind of gets moving and we get our crowd going.
The group is due to release the album Crossing Bridges coming out next month. Talk a little bit about that album.
So the album has a mixture of three type of genres because we have a large variety of how our sounds are. So we go from, I have a kind of a voice that's similar to a 50s guy. We have our guitarist, Paul, who's one of the greatest blues lead guitarists. Our bass player, Joe, toured with Chubby Checker. So he's got his way around, just playing these bass beats that continue on. And then every so often we get a real spice of rock and roll. So it goes from a 50s type of style to a blues style and then a dancing type of rock and roll.
How many songs will be on the album?
10 songs.
Are they all originals?
All originals, yes.
What is the writing process for the group? Is it a group effort or is it one or two individuals who do the writing?
So I would say the majority of this particular album I wrote, but along with I created the ideas and then I let the other musicians put their own flavor to it. So it has a mixture of all of us in it.
How did you decide on the 10 songs that made the album? Were there more songs and you whittled it down to 10?
There was more songs. We did whittle it down to 10 and they range from, first song that got released a few weeks ago was Cute, which is out there. The next song coming is Dream Girl. So those are kind of like the smoother ones. The next one coming is a real dancing one. It's called Shake It. And we mix it all up and make it sound like it's our own original sound.
You mentioned that the first single was Cute, already been released. Talk about that single. What is the story behind that song?
So it's about, someone could possibly be in a place where there's a little club and there's some dancing. And then there's a couple of girls over on the side and they're And this is the kind of vision I got too. If I was to create a video of it, and they're dancing, and the male says to the female, "Hey girl, I think you're cute. The way you shake your body just drives me crazy. Do you want to dance with me?" And then it keeps going on that way.
So you're going to put a video together for the song based on your thoughts?
Yes, yes.
What's the time frame on the video?
So we're thinking the video could be coming out in about maybe 2 or 3 months.
Is it hard to do a video right now with COVID restrictions in your area?
It is. It is. That's one of the things that is putting things off, because you got to put people together. You got to dance. You got to get close. So it's kind of creating some restrictions.
Video wouldn't just be the same with everybody wearing masks, would it?
Yeah, no, wouldn't be, right?
So talk about the album's coming out next month, and normally most times, if we didn't have COVID, you'd be having a big album release party or a big show somewhere. So what is Streetwise going to do to celebrate the release of the album next month?
So we're thinking along the lines of some kind of a live stream to get, so we could put on a live show. And then also we would have some type of, release party at some place. And of course, the social distancing is going to have to go on and things like that to respect this pandemic.
How much has Streetwise embraced social media and doing such things as the live streams like a lot of the other bands are doing right now?
So we got to the point where, we have a great PR company, and they're so tuned into the social media stuff. So we're following their lead, and they indicated, this is the way it is these days. And they have the way of getting it out there in the social media process.
Was it difficult to put the album together, record the album with the COVID restrictions, or was most of it done prior to the restrictions?
That's funny you say that, because the last tracks we put down were in like mid-March, and I had to fly our guitarist up who lives in Florida, and it was like paranoia trying to fly back, and we thought we were going to be confined. We actually, after the recording, sat in a restaurant in Manhattan, because we recorded at the Hit Factory right in downtown Manhattan, and the restaurant says, "You're our last you're our last customer. We're closing in 15 minutes."
Oh, wow.
Right, and that's when it all began.
So I understand that you are also partnering with Tony from the Hit Factory to build a studio, a recording studio of your own.
Yeah, so we have one right now. We're on the contract to buy the building in the Hamptons on the East End of Long Island. So we're moving forward to bring that recording out east in the Hamptons, because what happened was during the pandemic, as you probably heard, lots and lots of people left Manhattan and came out to the East End of Long Island. So what we also did was, I decided that, once this was all happening, I did once again get attention from record companies. But over the years, I created a pretty successful construction company, which we were able to finance everything ourselves. So I said, you know what? I started my own record company. It's called Dayquest Records, and I'm the first guy we signed up. But we are starting to look for some new talent as soon as this pandemic starts lighting up a little bit.
Well, as you are looking for new talent, what are you looking for that particular artist? When you're scoping out additional musicians to possibly bring to your label, what are things you are looking for?
Just quality, just, real quality. We can write the music. If we find someone that's talented, we can write the music, as long as that they have the ability to, the two ingredients, and you could be successful at mostly anything, is that a self-motivation and a desire to succeed. If you're missing one of those two ingredients, then the probability of you not being successful exists even more.
So you're not so much looking for an artist that can write great songs, because you might be able to do some of the writing for that artist?
Yes, we have writers. We can write a lot of, different kinds of music for the artist, depending on how we see that they're fit for the music.
Are you looking for a musician or a band that has showmanship, a stage presence? I know it's hard to
Oh,
see at this time during COVID.
yeah, we could, even if, we were also planning, me and my assistant, we're also planning some type of, a talent search or auditions just to find some talent, and we can mold them and we would create them.
The album comes out next month. The name of the album, Crossing Bridges. What else is on the horizon for Streetwise?
So we are now writing new music, and we plan on getting back into the Hit Factory right around May, because we want to have at least 4 or 5 new songs recorded by around August to start that process again.
Would they be songs that you're going to release as singles, or work on a whole new album and release them tied to an album?
These will be more in the singles, and we'd have a package of like 4 or 5 at this time instead of going, because recording 10 songs that took us a year. So we're going to try to break it down to maybe a 6-month process and let's start releasing it that way.
So a new album coming out in March, and then possibly more new singles coming out late summer, early fall.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to keep it going.
That's the way to keep the name out there.
All right.
If I've had your website up during the interview, but what are the other social media sites that fans can go to follow Streetwise and keep in contact with you and keep up to date?
So there's an Instagram that's Streetwise NYC, and there's just Streetwise at Facebook.
And the album comes out in March, and another single coming out before the album, I think you said?
Yeah, it's on the 26th of this month. It's called Dream Girl.
Dream Girl? Looking forward to hearing that, and wishing you and Streetwise much success, and look forward to hearing the whole album. I want to thank you very much for taking time to be on the program.
No, thank you, Tim, for having us, and looking forward to communicating with you again. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah, when the single comes out, please send it my way. Happy to put it on the show.
Great. We will definitely do that. Thank you again.
Thank you, Raymond.
Oh, you can probably, yeah.